We've had 4 years, and what do we have to show for it?
St. Louis has come a long way.
Incumbent Mayor Tashara Jones looking to execute her vision in a second term.
I'm not going to throw in the towel. I'm not going to quit.
Alderwoman Kara Spencer fighting for her chance to lead the city.
This is not a stepping stone for me.
Tonight, these two women clash over the issues impacting you most. City services, rebuilding St. Louis, fighting crime.
You know, the city has stuck their head in the sand and pretended like there isn't crime.
We want to create a St. Louis where everyone can thrive.
Weeks from now, you decide who's going to lead St. Louis for the next 4 years.
It is debate night in St. Louis here at Fox 2, your local election headquarters. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jasmine Huda.
And I'm Andy Banker. We're your moderators for what is sure to be an exciting debate tonight. Before we get started, Jasmine, let's go over the rules.
Each candidate will have 60 seconds to answer a direct question. Follow-up questions will be allotted 30 seconds. Time's up. You will hear this bell. Each candidate will also have 60 seconds for a closing statement.
And we also invite you all to join us on social media. Follow along with the debate hashtag. Use the hashtag STL Mayor Debate. We've got a lot to get to over the course of the next hour, so let's get right into it. Jasmine has our first topic. As the governor is poised to sign a bill giving oversight of the St. Louis Police Department to a state-appointed police board. Jazz.
Thanks, Sandy. Ms. Spencer, you have said publicly you are against state oversight of police, but that fighting the decision won't help the department. Now, if elected mayor, we know you would have a seat on the board. My question is, how would you work with the board in the best interest of the officers and the city? You have 60 seconds.
Thank you. Well, this is one of the most important issues facing the city of St. Louis. And what I've said really is that, fighting is not always effective. And we've seen that play out as the governor is getting ready to sign this bill. And what I'll do, is most important here is protecting the residents, the safety of our communities, and working with the governor to make sure that the city has a seat at the table. I want to make sure that the policies and procedures that we're putting in place are those that are best protecting our citizens. But look, if there's a path to fighting this, I want to be very, very clear. I support emphatically keeping the control of our police department here locally and making sure that the city of St. Louis, that the police department is answering to the mayor and the elected officials here in the city of St. Louis. I want to also say that, it's important to work with our state senators and our representatives at the state legislature to make sure that as we're moving through this, moving forward, boards and bills that are considered have input from the city of St. Louis, and that was really missing in this conversation here.
Thank you, Ms. Spencer. On to you, Ms. Jones. You have been vocal against the move to state oversight of police, and you have promised to fight to get it overturned, and that may take time, and it might not go your way. As we said, the mayor automatically has a seat on the board. So my question is to you, how would you approach that change as you challenge the decision? You have 60 seconds.
Well, there are very many uncertainties when we look at the state takeover of our police department, and it stands to erase all of the progress that we've made over the last 4 years in public safety, with homicides being down over 40%, youth-involved shootings being down over 50%, and our emergency response times being up 60%. And the Alderwoman has no idea what this will do to our current state of public safety. I have been the only candidate that has been back and forth to Jefferson City, talking to our senators, talking to our state representatives, and trying to make this bill less egregious than it already is. But we do have a seat at the table, and we will work with whatever comes out, but we will. But St. Louis deserves a mayor that's going to fight for their interests and speak up for their interests and make sure that they know that this bill is a violation of people's rights. 60% of people voted for the city to have state control, and this is going to take us back to Civil War era politics.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. We are going to stay on the topic of state control, and the next question is for you, Ms. Spencer. We know that one key reason that lawmakers introduced this bill is to address a critical shortage of police officers on the city streets. Ms. Spencer, you agree the city needs more officers, but what is your plan to grow the force? You have 60 seconds.
Let's take a step back real quickly and talk about the fight in Jefferson City. The mayor mentioned the senators and the lawmakers, as you pointed out, who made this decision. And while the mayor has gone to Jefferson City to have to speak in hearings, there are 10 senators that made this on the Democratic side, many of whom represent the city of St. Louis or neighboring communities. And it's my understanding the mayor has spoken to exactly one of them. There are another 14 House members. And, you know, fighting looks a lot different than just going and speaking at hearings. It means building coalitions and talking to our state senators and building relationships and coalitions that can not only work on issues like state control, but the myriad of issues facing the city of St. Louis that the legislators, the elected leaders of our community handle. And that is something that I will be bringing to the table, building coalitions in Jeff City. But to your question here about what I would do related to, Jasmine, what was, excuse me,
It was, what is your plan to grow the force?
To grow the force, this is absolutely key. When in 2020, we had 1,200 police officers. Right now we have under 900. We have to get serious about having the backs of our police department and working on making sure that the pay is commensurate with the surrounding community. These are the key reasons, some of the key reasons that our state legislature even considered this matter.
Thank you, Ms. Spencer. And to you, Ms. Jones, you have increased base pay
Twice.
for the officers in this city. But despite those raises, St. Louis officers are still some of the lowest paid in the region. So what is your next step to recruit and retain more officers? You have 60 seconds.
We're already doing the work to recruit and retain our officers. As you talked about, we've given 2 raises under my administration, hired the first police chief from outside of our city and our entire city's history, and leading with data. St. Louis is safer now than it was 4 years ago, and the data proves that. And then also, you know, Ms. Spencer has never been to Jefferson City to build any coalitions when it comes to talking to our senators or our representatives. So we're already doing the work when it comes to our recruitment classes. They are larger than they've ever been, and we've made the changes to make sure that when someone applies for a job with the City of St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, we return that call within the first 24 to 48 hours.
All right, thank you, Ms. Jones. Andy has our next question.
Let's turn now to safety in the city. Even with some crime metrics trending down, as Ms. Jones has said, safety is a big concern for people living in and working in the city, and also those who come to visit. Here's a question now from Fox 2 viewer Ron Walters.
Hi, my name is Ron Walters. I grew up in St. Louis County, visiting St. Louis with my family for fun events in places like the zoo, the Arch, Busch Stadium, Shaw's Garden, those kind of places. And as an adult living in an outside county now, I have no desire to attend any events in the city with my family because I fear for my safety and security. And I would like to know what the candidates intend to do to regain my confidence in visiting St. Louis.
That's the basic question. Ms. Jones, we start with you. How will you reassure people living in, working in, and those who visit the city, like Mr. Walters, that the city is indeed a safe place to be? 1 minute for your response.
Well, Mr. Walters, I would invite you to go to the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department's website and look at our crime tracker, which updates in real time every 24 hours the real-time crime that's going on in the city of St. Louis, and to look at our CompStat reports, where you will see the crime report in the last 7 days, 28 days, and the last year. And you will find that crime is down downtown and all over the city by double-digit percentages. I would give us a chance to take a look at what goes on downtown, because you're missing out on the Blues, and the Cardinals season is about to begin later on this month. We have the Battlehawks coming back later on this month. I would give us another chance because crime is down, and take a look at the data and see it for yourself.
Ms. Spencer, same question. How will you reassure people living in, working in, and those who visit St. Louis that the city is safe? 60 seconds.
Well, I don't know if I would recommend going to our city's police department website to all potential visitors. And while the numbers tell one story, the very real reality is people don't feel safer, and it's easy to see why. I mean, when you're driving through the city of St. Louis, the sense of lawlessness, the unlicensed vehicles, the vehicles that have 2, 3, 4, 5 years expired plates is a very visible reminder that we don't have enough police officers enforcing basic quality of life laws in the city of St. Louis.